up. He makes the catch. Are you kidding me?
この方寒天の銃
さあこれからが本番だ。
Welcome to the Three Cast, the podcast where we talk about three of the biggest topics in pop culture: video games, anime, and sports. Where do I even begin? NFL's Week 3, crazy. We had a crazy Week 3. It was record-breaking numbers when it comes to how many blocked punts there were for returns. You know, it was insane. But let's start with Thursday night. Thursday night was Miami versus Bills. Bills winning 31-21, but it was a close scoring game, very entertaining game. But yeah, this game was very entertaining to watch. It was literally a slugfest, you know, going back and forth. But ultimately, the Bills end up winning. Josh Allen comes out on top, and I don't know, he might have a chance to, or he might have a chance to become MVP this year. I don't know, who knows, the way he's performing nowadays. But let's get into the stats. So Josh Allen rushes for 108 yards with 19 rushes. Now, people do forget that Josh Allen is very great with his legs. Obviously, he's a threat when it comes to the passing game. He can, you know, get the ball where he needs to go. But don't sleep on his rush game, because he is a big dude, but he can also run and use his legs. So you might want to watch out for that. He's a very mobile quarterback for his size. And he also completes a touchdown. His quarterback completion rate was 22 for 28. For a total of 213 yards, which 22 of 28, which is very, very well, because that means he only missed 5 of his passes, which means he was spreading the ball around, but he was doing it like very cautiously and very, like, you know, was very safe with the ball, you know what I'm saying? So only 5 incompletions, very good on his part. And overall he has a total of 3 passing touchdowns with no interceptions. So like I said, 0 turnovers. Like I said, he was very cautious with the ball. He knew what he was doing. Very smart with it. I'm telling you, Josh Allen, bro, like, this man has something to prove, man. Like, every year, it's like every year he makes a case for MVP candidate, and he might, I don't know, it does look like that he might get it with you know. But we're going to talk about, you know, who MVP candidates, you know, later on. But when it comes to Miami, I really don't have much for them. Tua's passing percentage was 22 of 34, which, you know, like, it's not really too bad, you know what I'm saying? And he rushes for 146 yards. He gets 2 TDs, and he gets 1 interception. So it seems like Tua, he's starting to get the rhythm of this quarterback thing, you know. He rushes for 146 yards and he gets 2 touchdowns. Tua has definitely improved over the years, but that 1 interception, you know, he needs to learn how to protect that ball and not really be hasty with it. Take his time, and then maybe he'll get better. But overall, this game was very entertaining. Like I said, it was a slugfest, high-scoring game. It was very entertaining to watch. Regardless who you was going for in this game, you could have been neutral, and this game was just a very entertaining game to watch. So, on to the next game. Bears at Cowboys. Now, the story of this game, Cowboys needed to win this game. They needed to beat the Bears in order to make a statement that Cowboys deserve and they belong in the playoffs, or they belong with a winning record, or this was the game that they needed to win. to prove themselves, and they end up losing the game 31-14. It was a blowout, and I want to say that man, you know, every single time I think I have a little bit of faith in the Cowboys, they seem to disappoint every single time. And it's the same issues. It's the same issues. Now, we're going to get to those issues in a minute. But let's get to the stats. So the Bears, Caleb Wilson goes 19 of 28 passing, 298 yards, and 4 touchdowns. This dude balled out when it came to versus the Cowboys. This dude balled out for, absolutely no reason. He just went crazy. They just couldn't stop him. And we're gonna get into that. The reason why they couldn't stop him is because it's the Dallas defense. This defense and this secondary has been their Achilles heel for the entirety of these 3 weeks of playing football. Their defense is just very lackluster. They can't find a way to get to the quarterback, and they can't answer for the passes under the middle. It's like they have holes in their secondary and they can't answer for any of it. So yeah, that's something that they have to improve on. But like, come on, man. It's like, this has been y'all flaw so far in the entire season, and y'all have not improved on it. And that's something that y'all really need to do, because it's really costing y'all games. So yeah, with the struggling defense on its heels right now, they need to really find out what to do, because they can't keep doing this. The offense can't really keep carrying this lackluster defense, but even the offense is very lackluster. So it's like I don't know, it's like a lesser of two evils, you know what I'm saying? The offense is not really that good to carry the defense, and the defense is not really that good to carry the offense. So, you just gotta, I don't really know what to say about these Cowboys defense, but it really needs to get better. And also, their best receiver, CeeDee Lamb, also gets injured throughout the game. So I don't know if this is going to be a one-time injury or whatever, or if this is going to be like a multiple week injury. But let's hope that he can recover, because he's their best receiver, and without CeeDee Lamb, then they're going to be in trouble. Their defense is already lackluster. We don't need their offense to be even worse because of a CeeDee Lamb injury. But let's hope that, he recovers and gets right back to it, because they're going to really need him in the future. The way Dallas is struggling right now, it's not looking good. I just want to say that, why did Caleb Williams just ball out like this? Like, he didn't really need to do this, but he did. Like, and a lot of people were riding the Bears out, saying that they were going to win, but hey, man, Caleb Williams has something to prove, man, and he proved it to all the doubters. And, maybe that momentum can carry the Bears to wins in the future. Who knows? But he got to win under this belt. Maybe it can carry out to other weeks and stuff like that, but we're going to have to see. But what a blowout game. Dallas needs to figure out their secondary and their defense. And let's hope that CeeDee Lamb can recover. The Chiefs and Giants, I don't really have much to say about the Chiefs and Giants. Mahomes goes 22 of 37, which is okay. He rushes for 224 yards and a touchdown. The Chiefs beat the Rams 22-9. This was a very blowout game. The Giants really didn't stand a chance. It was a very shutout game. So those were the Chiefs stats. I really don't have nothing for the Giants. They really didn't do anything. I can't really spend too much time on this, because the Giants really didn't do nothing, so I don't have really nothing for their stats. But I will say, though, that this was a game that Mahomes needed to win, because for the last 2 weeks, Mahomes and the Chiefs have lost, and they needed this bounce back game for many reasons, because they were being clowned on, saying that maybe the Chiefs fell off, maybe Mahomes wasn't really like that. But they end up proving people wrong this game and finding a way to win. So hopefully that this can carry out their momentum into other games and hopefully get a bounce back and stop the haters talking about them. But overall, this was an impressive win by Mahomes and the Chiefs. Now let's get into this Eagles and Rams game. Now this was a very interesting game because the Eagles, they need to play, or they have been playing as well, like they need to prove something. They are Super Bowl champions, so there is a target on their back, and they have been playing like this. And this game especially proves it. But the Eagles have been playing hard, rough, physical football. So, and they've been showing it that they, could be the best team in the NFL right now, maybe one of the best. But let's get into these stats. So the Eagles win it 33-26. And it was a very close game, and it was a very interesting game, fun game to watch. Especially because the Eagles were down going into the second half of the game. The Eagles were down, I think, 19 points in the second half, and they made a 19-point comeback in the second half. And that just shows dedication and the teamwork that this team has. And also, they invented the tush push. Now this is a very controversial thing. Now the tush push, is something that no one has ever been able to replicate in the NFL, and the Eagles have invented that. So it is their thing, and it's worked for them. So they come back from a 19-point deficit in the second half. Jalen Hurts throws for 226 yards and 3 touchdowns in this game. So the Eagles were just unstoppable in the air. They, Jalen Hurts was doing his thing. They just couldn't stop him. I guess the Rams defense was, unable to stop this offense. And this was a power-hungry offense. Like I said, this is Super Bowl champions. And they're trying to, get another ring. So they're going to be hard to stop. And also the Eagles defensive tackle, Jordan Davis, blocked a game-winning field goal, and he ran it back for a touchdown. So that's basically the story of Sunday night games, right? I think I heard somewhere that, I don't know if it was this game specifically where the Eagles had like crazy numbers of field goal blocks, or if it was just all around the league. But this week, week 3 of NFL football had a crazy number of field goal blocks. I think it was like record breaking or something like that. So that's a crazy stat that I wasn't planning on happening, but it did happen. So it was crazy, man. You just had to be there to witness it. So defensive tackle scores on a game-winning field goal block for a touchdown. And as of the Eagles running game, Saquon Barkley had 46 yards and 18 carries. So it seems like, it wasn't really heavily relying on the running game as much as the passing game, and it shows with Jalen Hurts doing his thing. Also, give credit to Jordan Davis for the field goal block, game-winning field goal block. So that definitely helped when it came to this Eagles win. Now let's get to the Rams side. So, like I said, the Rams lost. They scored 26 points. The Rams receiver Puka Nakua. I don't know if I'm butchering that. If I'm butchering that, please forgive me. But he caught 11 passes for 112 yards. So really not that well of a receiving day or a passing game for the Rams. It sounds like they couldn't really do their thing against the air. Is definitely not going to match Jalen Hurts, but who can really, right? Matt Stafford goes 192 passing yards on the day for 2 touchdowns. So, you know what I'm saying? Not really that much that he did. But like I said, though, like, with the Eagles' performance and Jalen Hurts and all that stuff, then, you can't really do much about it. For the Rams rushing game, Kareem Williams rushes for 94 yards and 20 carries. So it seems like they couldn't get their rushing game going on, and they kind of barely had a passing game. But it seems like they couldn't really find their rhythm. You know what I'm saying? So, but 33-26 is still a very high scoring game. Kind of close, but the Eagles came on top. The Eagles just wanted it more. They were more hungry. They had more to prove. Like I said, Super Bowl champions. They feel like they can get back to the Super Bowl this year, and maybe they can, but we're gonna have to see. So, they just wanted it more. They were more hungry. Like I said, man, they just had to prove they had something more to prove. And I don't know, it seems like they're running through teams, man. We're going to have to see if the Eagles can keep up this dominant performance throughout the whole season, and who's going to be able to stop them. Now, let's get into this Monday Night Football game. And, man, was this a very entertaining, high-scoring game, man. Just a game between two sluggers, man. The Lions versus the Ravens. The Lions end up winning this game 38-30, but it was very, very close. Now, of course, I'm disappointed because my Ravens lost, but man, was this a heartbreaking game for the Ravens, man. And man, this doesn't look good for the Ravens, because everyone's talking about how the Ravens are supposed to be this, defensive team. They're supposed to be the best NFL team in the NFL, maybe top 2 at most. And it's like they can't win in clutch situations. It really hurts me, man. It's like I really want them to get a win, but it seems like they're not good. I don't know, bro. I don't know what's going on, bro. But both of these teams balled out. So let's get to the stats. The Lions, Annan St. Brown. I really don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm not gonna really try to, but I'm just gonna say Annan St. Brown. Annan St. Brown has set obviously the receiver that dominated this game, has 7 receptions for 77 yards and a touchdown. Jared Goff goes 20 for 27 passing yards. That's his passing percentage, for 202 yards and a touchdown. So the Lions were able to generate 422 yards of total offense. So their offense really did their thing in this game. It seemed like the Ravens defense couldn't carry it, but very dominant game for the Lions, man. It's really heartbreaking for the Ravens. But let's get into the Ravens stats. So, oh man, where do I even start? Where do I even begin? Derrick Henry. This is Derrick Henry's 3rd straight game with a fumble. Now, no, look, Derrick Henry, oh man, he had 3 devastating fumbles this season so far in each game, and it's, you could say that it cost us the win, especially last week. But man, it's like Derrick Henry can't hold on to the ball, man. What's going on, Derrick Henry? 3rd straight game with a fumble. Derrick Henry only has 12 rushes for 50 yards this game. He has a touchdown, but I mean, that's about it. It seems like, oh man, Derrick Henry in the rushing game couldn't find its way. Lamar Jackson was getting stopped a lot too. So he had a couple of good runs, but you know the Lions defense were kind of all on Lamar, so he really couldn't get things done when he needed to. So the Ravens end up with 318 total yards of offense, which is a lot less than the Lions' total yards of offense. Look, we couldn't really get anything done. The offense, like I said, Lions defense was stopping Lamar in every single way. Lamar Jackson goes 247 passing yards. Mark Andrews has a total of 97 yards, 97 receiving yards, and 2 touchdowns. Derrick Henry has a total of 192 rushing yards for 24 carries. So it seems like the ball was getting spread around, you know, the team a lot, but we just couldn't really find anything going. Like, we just couldn't get things going for the offense. And the Lions defense was just reading us in every single way. And oh man, it just really hurts, bro. Like man, it's like the Ravens, for a team who's very high valued in the NFL, and people talking about how this is the best full team of football, it's like we're not looking very good, and we need to change that. Something needs to change, and I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the Derrick Henry fumbles that keep happening. Maybe it's, the defenses are starting to read Lamar Jackson now, starting to contain him in the pocket. He's not able to run it like he used to. Maybe it's that. I don't know what it is, but or maybe the receiving core, needs more touches, or needs more something. But something needs to go on. You know what I'm saying? This team can't be talked about as the best NFL team right now, and it's not performing that way. So we need to get it together. We need to do something. Something needs to happen severely and quick too. Now, are we going to make the playoffs playing like this? Me personally, look, all I'm going to say is, if this Ravens team keeps underperforming, it's not like we're underperforming. We're doing great. But if we keep playing under pressure and in clutch situations and losing the lead and losing games when we need to, then I don't know if we're going to make it that far into the playoffs, man. Because the Ravens have a strong start when it comes to the first half of games, even maybe the first 3 quarters of games. We have a dominant half. We lead with more than, I want to say 20 points so far sometimes. It's just that fourth quarter is like we can't clutch it up, and that's something that we need to do if you want to make the playoffs, and especially win in the playoffs. We need to be able to clutch games, and we're not doing that. And the Ravens need to figure something out, because that's not winnable. That's not a winnable team. Yeah, we might have a winning record in the regular season, and we could make the playoffs, maybe first round. But if something doesn't change, we're gonna get eliminated first round if we can't clutch up in games. If we start leads like that and we can't finish games, and we lose leads and we end up losing the game, we can't do that. Something needs to change, but I'm off of this, man. This is getting me wild up and fired up. Now let's move on to anime news. So today's anime news is Crunchyroll reveals that My Hero Academia will be receiving a live-action movie with Jason Fuzz, or Fuzz, however you pronounce his name, being the writer on it, with his biggest work being the Wonder Woman movie. Now, this is huge news for My Hero Academia fans, because that while the anime and while the manga just ended, so now you'll be getting new content from My Hero Academia, and a movie announcement. Huge news. Now, My Hero Academia Vigilantes was another anime that did come out, and it was like a whole like spin-off series or took place in another timeline. So, but I'm not really into My Hero. That I'm not really mess with that. So let me know how that turned out. Was it really good or not? Because I don't know. It seemed like it seemed like a spin-off series, like kind of how like Teen Titans Go was like a spin-off series of Teen Titans. So it seemed like kind of that situation, to where it was basically just a spin-off, one-off, well, not really a one-off series, but like a spin-off series when it comes to that. I don't really know how Vigilantes did when it comes to like performance wise, but I mean, that's good. That's good for My Hero Academia fans. Y'all getting a live action movie, which, I mean, I really hope they do it well, because you know live action really doesn't have, especially nowadays of recently, doesn't really have that well of a reputation. It's kind of known for ruining a lot of things, but if done right, then you know My Hero is such a verse. It was such a verse anime, a bunch of diversity when it comes to characters, when it comes to power. So if you do it right, then I think that it could happen. There's so much you can do with it. In other news, oh man, we're just gonna have to talk about this, bro. And I know I keep bringing this up, but Demon Slayer right now is one of the biggest topics out right now. One of the biggest animes, especially since the movie dropped. Bro, it's exploding, bro. It's everywhere, bro. It's like you can't escape it. But Demon Slayer has surpassed Spirited Away in box office sales, being the second highest grossing movie in Japan's history. This movie was a hit. This movie was groundbreaking. This movie probably made this movie definitely made anime as a whole worldwide. It definitely put anime on the map worldwide. Oh man, I can't even explain the amount of impact that Demon Slayer has had, and it being a quote unquote new gen anime, new slash old gen, because it's in that middle ground. It's kind of with My Hero Academia, right? Where, you know, it came out in 2014, but it's still classified as new gen, but it's like new old gen, because it's not really new gen. But the impact that Demon Slayer has had is insane, bro. And it's like you got to give it up to them, bro. And I know this Infinity Castle movie has been just doing numbers, but I need to see this movie. I have to see this movie, but this movie's been going crazy, man. Going crazy lately. It is also the highest grossing movie of all time in America. So, yeah, this movie's no joke. This movie's no joke. This movie is definitely the best animated movie of all time, hands down. You can't argue with the numbers. This movie is doing numbers all around the world in countries such as Mexico, Brazil, Peru, Central America, Argentina and Chile, the UK, Spain, Italy, and the EU, Costa Rica, Arabia. Yeah, man. And so this movie has definitely impacted this worldwide, going across the nations, going across different countries. Like it's crazy, man. The Demon Slayer movie changes the anime industry. And Demon Slayer has changed the anime industry, making it global now. Like there's certain animes that are old school, like, you know, Dragon Ball, you know, Yu Yu Hakusho, like animes like that came out in the 90s, in that era. They made anime mainstream, made it popular over here in the West, when it wasn't originally popular, but this Demon Slayer movie has made anime global, with a global audience. And I'm not really surprised, because Demon Slayer is, like I said, quote unquote new gen, and the storyline is simple enough to follow, but along with that, it comes with visuals, amazing visuals, you know, amazing storytelling. Like, people say Demon Slayer doesn't really have that much of a story, but I mean, it really doesn't. I'm not gonna say it doesn't have much of a story, but I think the story is just surface level. Like, it's a basic story. It has great storytelling, but it's just not a complicated story, right? But it's definitely a great story. Storytelling, artwork, just amazing fights, amazing characters. I'm not surprised that this anime has went global. And also, this movie has been doing so well that even Spotify, the music platform, has collaborated with Demon Slayer, and with a certain subscription, a tier of subscription. I don't know if this is certain subscriptions or all subscriptions, but I want to say it's with certain subscriptions. With a certain tier of subscriptions, you have a chance to pull, I think it's either one of 7 different type of Demon Slayer player cards. So it's cool to see that companies are starting to collaborate with animation companies. You know, it's nice to see anime up now, with years of people trashing on anime, and it wasn't really as popular, and now that anime is kind of popular right now, it's nice to see anime getting its flowers right now. Like, people are seeing the impact of anime, not only the impact, but the sales of anime, that it can make money, that is popular, that it's not just for, you know, little kids or nerds, that it's for everybody, something that everyone can enjoy. And it's not to see anime on that path right now, because like I said a couple videos ago, anime was really not, just a few years ago it wasn't mainstream, and now it's mainstream. But that's it for the podcast. Again, check out chapter 2 of my manga. It's finally out. If you want to go check that out, link will be in the description below if you're interested. This has been Tough as One, signing off.